So the first thing they are going to ask you when it comes to the IELTS speaking test on arrival is for you to introduce yourself. Okay? It's the same pattern. It has never changed for years. It's still going to be the same thing. Now, and after introducing yourself, they'll ask you for your international passport to confirm your identity. After that, they'll now ask you to sit down. Sometimes people walk in and just sit. Now, is it wrong to sit before or sit when they ask you to sit? If you're not seated already, they'll ask you to sit. If you come in and you sit, they will not ask you to sit again. Then they'll now tell you, we are about to start recording. Everything that happened before the recording starts is not graded. So the way you speak when you introduce yourself is not graded. There is no point. The way you gave them the passport, the way you stood, the way you sat, there is no point there. The point starts when the recording starts. Okay? Now, I like to say this thing. I even say it in my care training for those that have attended. Our first class, we do what is called killing the fear via speaking. Use these 3 steps. Introduce yourself. Give me your passport. Sit down. To kill fear. I like to say this in my trainings, that in Nigeria, a good girl, let me use girl, or a good woman is identified by being quiet. You know, when they take you to your in-laws' place, they'll say, how are you? I'm fine. You wave at them. In Nigeria, they see it as, oh, this one is a wife material, oh, this one is good. But the other way around, internationally, abroad, when you're that, I'm fine, ma, it is well. When you're that kind of people, it is seen as timidity. It is seen as lack of confidence. It is seen as you don't know who you are. So don't think that you want to bring in, I'm nice. I don't want to show myself. Don't bring it in this place. In this place, you need to be bold. You need to be audacious, fearless. So if you're that gentle person, this is my advice. Pretend it. Pretend not to be gentle, because gentility will affect a lot in your speaking. It will affect your audibility. It can affect your pronunciation. It can affect your grammar. When you're tensed, you make mistakes in your sentences. I'm not saying you shouldn't be yourself. Be real, but don't allow fear, anxiety to overshadow you. So use that. What's your name? My name is Fadina West, and use that one to kill the fear. They say your passport. You just give them passport. Ask your passport. Okay, here it is. You hand it over to them. Say something, communicate, and use that. It's not graded, remember? So use that opportunity to kill fear. All right. Now, the first part, the speaking test, is further divided into 3. Part 1, part 2, and part 3. Okay? The entire speaking test will last for 11 to 14 minutes. The entire test. So this 11 to 14 minutes is divided into 3. Okay? The first part, they're asking you a question that you have to respond. We will go into each part in details tonight. So the first part is a conversation. I ask you a question, you respond. I ask you another question, you respond. I ask another question. They'll ask you up to 4 to 5 questions, and you're supposed to respond. So it is a conversation. That's what they call dialogue, Abi, where two people are speaking. Now, the part 2 is they give you a pen, give you a paper, a plain paper, then they'll give you a topic. They'll now give you 1 minute to write on that topic, 1 minute to prepare to speak on that topic. So it's like you're going for a speech and you have just 1 minute to prepare. After the 1 minute to prepare, you now have 2 minutes to speak. We're going to teach you in details what to do in that 1 minute. What are you preparing? You think 2 minutes is small, but the time you start talking, when you record yourself and you talk on a topic for 2 minutes, you will see that 2 minutes is not small. So we're going to teach you the tricks to generate the content of what to speak, and we're going to give you the tricks to maintain a pace. For example, when you're a fast speaker like me, I can talk for Africa. Now, when you're a fast speaker, your content will finish and the man will be looking at you because you have 2 minutes. So there's a pace you have to follow. And when you are not so fast, it also helps your pronunciation. It also helps your vocabulary. All right. Then the third part of the speaking test, which is like general abstract questions, they are going to basically want to see you demonstrate your speaking skills. Now, they're going to ask you a question from your number 2 question. Somehow it is related to what you said in number 2. Not always, but somehow it relates a bit. And this as well is a conversation, okay? Sorry, all along I've not been looking at my slides, so I'll just go through what's on the slide. It's a one-on-one, face-to-face interview. Whether you signed up for computer-based or you signed up for paper-based, the speaking test is the same. It's the same. There is no computer anywhere. Is the same. You're sitting in front of somebody, okay? So the first part is like a chit chat, 45 minutes. Question of familiar, personal. Get that I was saying. It is about you or your. Tell me about your favorite TV show. What is your favorite food? Have you ever traveled abroad? What is the experience you encountered with your last relationship? You know, it's about you, your personal topic. Basically, simple things. Simple things that everybody has an answer for. Now, my own, like I said before, my own was, what is my favorite TV show? Okay. And one thing you should note here, please be writing, is that most of the questions have the temptation of a quick response. What's your favorite TV show? Oprah Winfrey Show. Finish. So there's the temptation for you to, you know, just give that answer. After all, I answered them. Shebi, they asked for my favorite TV show. Did I not tell them, what am I scoring this for now? All the questions they asked me, I answered, and I answered right. There are temptations that you can be tempted to just give an answer. And of course, it is an accurate answer, but it is not proper to give answers. So what can you add to your answers? This is now a trick. This is now a trick. Thank you. This is now a trick of what you can add to your answers. Number 1, reason. Add reason to your answer. For example, your favorite TV show. You tell them your favorite TV show is your favorite show because she's an amazing personality. I just wonder how a Black American can rise, or how a Black can rise to it's a level of extreme limelight or influence or whatever. Number 1 thing you can add to that answer is reason. Give a reason. Number 2 thing you can add to that your answer is give details. Give details about the show. Not, I like it because it's reason. No, because it's reason. When you always say all the questions they ask you, you say this because, this because, this because. You just want to give reason in all of them. At some point, it will become boring. Don't use reason all through. What else you can use is give details. Give details to that thing. You know, the TV show. Talk about the TV show. It's an amazing show, and the time that it comes up. Don't be saying you know too much. It's because I didn't think about what I want to say. So give details about the TV show, when it holds, the section, what happens in the show, etc. Then the third thing you can do is talk about the past and the future, right? Talk about the past and the future. What's your favorite TV show? Now I love to watch Koinonia Global. I don't miss it for anything. But before now, 5, 10 years down the line, I wasn't really a churchy person. I don't really like things about church. I would rather want to watch tinsels and all that. But right now, I'm grown. I'm more spiritually inclined. Give past and present. Are we together? So don't just say, this is my favorite TV show. This is my favorite food. This is my favorite teacher in school. Just call the person's name. Oh, her name is Mrs. Okori, and just stop there. You say why you love Miss Okori, because she's hard, she's disciplined, she's principled. That's the because. Give details about her. Maybe explain Miss Okori will not even have details. Then talk about the past. Okay. Normally, I would normally not like people that are principled and disciplined, but I noticed that she helps me to do well. She helped me to do well. I passed all her tests. I did better in her subject. So I later realized that she might be mean or she might be strict, but I turned out being a better person. So compare past, present, give reasons, and give details. That's one thing you can do in your one-on-one conversation, part 1. Now, there are chances that they can stop you while you're talking. So imagine you're excited, talking about your best teacher, and the next thing, they've stopped you to the next question. Don't let that bother you. Don't let that make you feel like, because normally, when somebody is speaking and somebody just stops you, be like, I never talk finish, I just not stop me. They've gotten what they want. Don't feel bad. Just pick the next question and flow. Now they're working with a time frame per question. They can stop you at any time. It is better they are stopping you. Yeah, it's charging me. Thank you. It is better they are stopping you than you finish talking and you're not looking at them, they're looking at you. So it's better they're the ones stopping. So it is better they are the ones pausing, they're the ones cutting you short than you finish talking and they're still looking at you like there's something more you need to say. That one is bad. All right. So okay, he says what you do, your likes, what language do you speak, basic topic. So there is no how somebody will not have an answer to question 1. It's not a question that you need to prepare. They are simple questions. You have an answer. Now, I know I said in my time, I told them that I don't have a favorite TV show. And I did well. But is there something else somebody can do? Yes. For example, there are questions like, who is your favorite writer? It's not everybody that reads book or is a fan of book reading. Who is your favorite? Maybe there's something you don't even have a favorite, and they're asking you. You can do like me and say, I don't have a favorite because this is that. I argued with them. But you can also, another thing I could have done that day is just pick up a TV show and say there is this very, very unpopular channel in this country. It's called RS TV. There is this funny show that happens. Shall say something. Favorite writer. It could be your father. He's not popular, but I've read some of his manuscripts. For me, he's my model. He's my favorite writer. Whenever I read his book, I get inspired. Is it true? Is it a lie? Nobody knows and nobody cares. So how you be like the lie has to sound like the truth. So you need to, because you have a very short time, you need to structure that lie in your head. Don't hook in the lie. So if you're not good at lying, please, I don't know why you need the word lie, right? Remember what they are testing is your ability to speak, your ability to communicate, not really the content. When I say this content, I don't want people to misunderstand. Not really the accuracy of or whether it's truth how do I speak this English? I don't want to use the word accuracy because accuracy is one of the accuracy in grammar is different from accuracy in the content of what you're saying. Let me say something very, yes, you can go. Thank you. Let me say something very off. If you say, like the name of my husband is West, and I'll say, oh, amazing. My husband's name is Mr. George. Mr. George is so full of life. He's somebody you want to be with. How do they want to confirm that my husband's name is not Mr. George? Do you understand what I mean by that accuracy? So it's not really about the accuracy. They're not going to investigate what's my husband's name. So that's what I mean by nobody cares about the accuracy. But the accuracy of grammar is important. Like you cannot say my name was, no, my name is, or my name are, no people, my name are, that one is not accurate. I don't know if people understand the two accuracy I'm talking here. Hello, am I alone here? Do you understand the two accuracies I'm talking about? Accuracy in grammar is important. Accuracy in content, like is it true or false? Nobody cares. If you understand, say I understand.
I understand.
I understand.
I understand.
Beautiful, beautiful. So
I understand. I understand.
Thank you. So that's what I want people to understand. So you can play along with anything. Now, when we have typically as Nigerians or as human beings, when we hear interview, there's always this tension. Yes, there's always this tension, but just see it as you are gisting with a friend. Because when we go, I told one of my students, I said, the day you took us out, because he was very happy and he said he wants to take the whole office out. I said, you see that day you took me and my whole staff out, right? You see the way we're having fun on the table, we're just gisting. It's the same pattern. If I could ask you a question, you answer. You ask me, I answer. This one we talk from this table. This one will talk from this table. Everybody will talk, we laugh. Because there is no time somebody will say something. We'll now be doing. We're all flowing. Nobody expected the question that will come, but we always had an answer. It's the same way you will always have an answer. So see that interviewer as just somebody that took you out. Like don't even allow fear coming, because fear can mess you up big time. All right, so let's continue. So what is here? Basic topics part 2. You'll be given a card. So they're going to give you a card or a paper and a pen, and they'll ask you to prepare for 1 minute, then speak for 2 minutes. This takes in total 3 to 4 minutes, because sometimes, in as much as you have 2 minutes to speak, they can sometimes allow you to speak extra 15 seconds, thereabout. Then the third, like I said, to demonstrate your speaking skills, you have to give details to your answer. You have to give reasons to your answer. You have to give past and present, whatever, to your answers. Don't just give a direct response. Go ahead and explain why. Why do you love her? Why do you do that? Give details, okay? I think I've explained that a great deal. Now, so they're going to be rating you based on 4 things. They're going to be rating you based on 4 things. All those things you're talking, they're going to rate you. So it's good you know the rules of the game so that you will stick to the rules of the game. Number 1, coherence and fluency. Okay? Coherence. Make logical sense. Make points. Connect the dots. Fluency. So let me give an example of a sentence that lacks coherency. She loves to send me to the market. Sometimes when I go to the market, she's always happy with what I buy. It's not as if I'm not around, she will not send another person. She will send, but I feel she just likes it when I'm the one going to market for her. I didn't connect that. So coherence, fluency is My mom loves to send me to the market. In fact, if I am not at home, she will practically wait until I return. For some reasons, I feel she just likes it when I buy things because I have amazing negotiation skills. So I will go to the market, I will negotiate and bring down prices of things. My mother will not send any other person to the market until I return. Fluency. I wasn't speaking fast. I was taking my time. I was fluent. I was coherent. I joined every sentence. Every sentence was put together, joining the dots together. Okay, there are some things I wrote down, have been logical and being consistent. Okay, putting all the parts of your sentence together. Okay, so how structured is your speech? Are you just talking back here, but you're talking carelessly up and down? Let it flow. Let it flow. So they're going to be rating you based on that. Now you know that they are judging you based on fluency and coherence. When you start to pause and do like this, is affecting your points. Yes, it is affecting your points. So just flow. Now, there's one secret I used to give my students in the curse school. I call it ad libs. Ad libs. If you're a musician, all those ad libs, they say when you're singing, you don't know what to sing. You're like, oh my God, oh God, oh God, oh God. You know just waiting to talk again, but you cannot stop now. Everybody's looking at you. So you just say one thing like that, my God, my God. That's ad libs. But in this context right now, ad libs is like, oh my, awesome, unbelievable. I just couldn't even imagine it. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? How did that even happen? You're buying time. You're saying something in between. So let me add my ad libs to this first story I gave before. So my mom loves to send me to the market. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, mommy, must it be me? But she just has a way of believing in my purchasing power, so I use that, oh my God, to buy time. I'm adding libs. So ad libs helps your fluency, it helps your flow. But don't do now, miss doing it now, it sounds funny, but by the time you do today's assignment, you record yourself. If not, I had said this, maybe you'll be conscious. I couldn't have said it. You see some of you will be talking, you'll be saying, you don't really know you say it until you listen to yourself. So as I was coming, I just told her to stand there and wait for me. I'm going to meet her because there another thing we like to say is, so this Nigeria, not a language, I've said now. So please be careful. You're going to be rated based on your fluency and your coherency. Now, how easy is it for you to speak? Now, if you stammer, that is something totally different. Then no, you do stammer. But is there ease in your speaking? And what is the pace you're using to speak? So don't now go and add phonetic accents because you want to impress somebody. If you know that phoneme is going to affect your vocabs, please keep it one side and speak your speak. Speak your speak. All right. So I've said, you see what I mean? Don't do it. Long pauses are not good. Long pauses are not good. Instead of pausing and saying, you can now say something like, so I just imagined what was going through her mind. You're buying time. You're buying time. Now, it is okay, surprisingly so, to say, they ask a question that puts you off balance, especially in part 2 and part 3. It's okay to say, oh my God, I have never thought about something like that. Just give me a couple of minutes, let me think about it. Then you start talking. You've used all those stories to buy time. That's an interesting question, but I've never ever thought about something like that. Let me see. Give me a little time. You can do that before you speak. But once speaking has started, that's a totally different ballgame. So instead of diving and opening your mouth to talk and you know you don't know what to talk, it is better to say, oh, that's an interesting question, but funny enough, I have never ever thought about it. Just give me a couple of seconds. Let me think. Okay, I will say this instead. Then you flow. You don't buy time. And of course, your time is counting. So that also shows some level of confidence and all. Okay. So the next thing is your lexical resource. How much vocabulary do you use? Please don't go and now do over vocabulary and misuse vocabulary. Yes, know some vocabs in the Cambridge Dictionary. If you can download the Cambridge Dictionary, there are some vocabularies that are rated A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Now, I explained that in day one, that there are different levels. There's A1, so there are different vocabularies. You can just learn 5 vocabularies or 10 and just keep it in your head and understand how to use them. The use of vocabularies, piam, it skyrockets your point. It skyrockets your point. Now, there are 3 ways this thing can come about. Number 1, the quality of a vocabulary. Okay, which kind of vocab did you use? Don't go and do all those. What's that guy that used to speak plenty English? He's not that type of kukum kakum kukum vocabulary. Don't go there. Small, powerful vocabs, not something necessarily off the hook that is not used daily. All right. So the quality of your vocabularies. Now, ability to use synonyms. For example, instead of saying it's fine, you can now say it's so pleasant to behold. It's so pleasant. You have changed, the word. You can even use, what synonyms are? Nearest in meaning, okay? So you can even rephrase their question. For example, what is can this example come to my head now? They can ask you a question. What do you like doing during holiday? That's a question. Now, what they're asking is what you like. Then you now say, for me, fun is, I didn't say I like, I changed like, what I like doing. What I like doing is fun. For me, fun is, so you responded to their question by giving them nearest in meaning to what they said. So, normally in Sunday school or in those days, they'll ask you, what is your name? My name is, you don't have to use the name. So let's assume a basic question like, what is your name is asked. You're not going to get that kind of basic question, but let's assume it is asked, what is your name? So you can say something like, I love to be called. So it means you have an understanding of the question. I love to be called Vida, but my actual name is, or the name my parents gave me. Rephrase, paraphrase, use synonyms, nearest in meaning. Are we together? So the first one, like I said, is the quality of your vocabulary, using vocabulary like consistent, persistent, small vocabulary like that, not anthropology, not all those type. Don't go and mess yourself up. But if you're good with that kind of cabs, be my guest, carry go. Some of those vocabularies are in the C1 and the C2 level. But even if you have an A1 vocabulary, A2 vocabulary, it is fine. Stick to that, okay? And the third thing they're going to be checking in your use of vocabulary is, are you using it appropriately? Don't just use vocabulary and use it. You wanted to say persistent, you now want to go and say endurance. Don't use it anyhow. Don't use it anyhow, okay? Now, the next is grammatical range and accuracy, which is almost like using vocabularies appropriately. Are you using the right grammar structure? Are you using present tense? Are you using past tense, present participle? Those of you that were not listening to your teacher in secondary school, is now we're going to know. Is now we're going to know. So are you using the right grammar? Are you using the right grammar structure? Okay. Are you making sense? Are you connecting with all those things you are saying? Okay. So like I said before, you cannot say my name are. Now let me ask a question. How do you introduce yourself? Is it my name is or my names are? Which one is correct? My name is, or my names are.
My names are.
My name is.
Again, my names are. It's only two people that
My
spoke.
names are.
My names
My
are.
names
My
are.
names are.
My names are. And my name is.
My names are.
I think my name is correct.
My name is the correct one.
Oh, Lord. So, my name, if you want to check it grammatically, the both are correct. None is wrong, but it is how you use it. How many names do you have? Is one. My name is Fordina West. That's my name. But when I want to now say my names are Fordina, Chidima, Ekwe, those are my names. But the official correct thing, my name is. So if you want to use my names are, be ready to be listing your names. What your names are. My name is Fordina. My names are Dina, Chidima, Jessica. My name is not Jessica. All right. So please, my name is, stick to it. And definitely your international passport has just few names, your name, surname, or your name, middle name, and surname. So my name is what is generally accepted. My name is. Christabel, question. Yes, go ahead with your question, Christabel.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, you just mentioned my case. Like my international passport has three of my names, like my main name, my middle name, and my surname. In that case, I should say my name is, since it's the standard. Since I'm mentioning some couple of names, it's still okay.
Just say my name is, carry your first name and your last name. That's what is officially accepted.
Okay, thank you.
Your first name, your surname. My name is Nakam. That's okay, straight up. Any other question? Okay, so look at this example here. I think this is for, okay, I'm not even finished. So the first thing you're going to be looking at is the pronunciation. Pronunciation. How clear is your message? Are you pronouncing them right? Are you understood? During the introduction, I said something. I said, be watching British movies. Now, when you watch these movies, it works. Let me not brag too much. It works because when you're listening to them, you will now be wondering, why is she pronouncing because like that? Why is she? I used to be very, very Igbo-tic. I'm not an Igbo girl, though, but I grew up in Enugu State. So nursery, primary, secondary, I was in Enugu. When I left Enugu State, I moved to Abuja to stay with my aunt for a while. My cousins now be telling me, cousin, it's not battery, it's not battery. Every time you say, check the battery, check the battery. I'm like, what are these people saying? All my life, I've been calling this battery, battery. It's not battery, it's battery. Every time I'm saying battery, battery, that with the Igbo accent, right? All love to my Igbo people. I love Igbos. In fact, tomorrow I defend Igbos more than perseverance. Like I see myself as an Igbo person. But it took me to step out of... Sorry? Was that a question? So it took me coming out of Enugu State and being in Abuja to know that I was talking nonsense. Do you understand? So when you start to watch British movies, when they pronounce some things, you now be the one feeling these people not making mistake in this pronunciation. They are not. You're the one that's been talking nonsense. So when my cousin started yapping me, just be talking normal talk. Where I'm coming from, I will talk, everybody's gisting. But all of a sudden, I'm talking and people are laughing. It just didn't make any sense to me. You know, I found it very offensive. Like, I don't just see normal gist. These people laughing. So I now started watching CNN. I'm always on CNN. They'll talk. In fact, sometimes they'll talk. I reduce the volume. I'll try to repeat after them. I did that for a very long time. And one thing happened one day. I was in the US. a taxi woman, an American taxi driver. We were chatting, they like to gist with their passengers. And the next thing she said is, she loves my American accent. She said, me, American accent, where? Who dashed me American accent? It was my first time in the United States, and somebody's liking my American accent. I watched CNN so he deleted, that erotic thing had to disappear. But when I want it to come back, it comes back. Oh, we know how to switch. Are you there? So please start watching British movies and begin to spot out what you are not saying right. You will see their flow. Just know when the pitch is going up, when it's coming down. One thing that will help you is relax, be slow in speaking. Now, when I say slow, it's not my mother, not that kind of slow, but calm down and flow. It's 11 to 14 minutes. Let the time just be passing. When you're too fast, you go talk, finish. They'll be looking at you like you still have something more to say. So your pronunciation, the solution to this is be watching movies. Be watching movies, and like I'm still going to send some voice samples on the group so we start getting used to those voices, listening to it and understanding. Any question? Any question? And please do not think that when we talk about pronunciation, we are saying you should not speak like an American or British. No, don't mix it up. Don't get it twisted. Pronunciation and accent is not the same thing. I can be speaking phonetics and still make a wrong pronunciation. Hi, what's going on? Like, where did I even go to? And I was telling the person I need water. But she said, the woman now replied me, he said, Madam, we don't have water. What we have is water. I laughed. Say what we have here is water. We don't have water. So you now think you want to do phone now. In your phonetics, you now blow. That is water. Water is water. There's a T and the T is not silent. So water is not the right pronunciation. So these are like sample questions that you would have for this your speaking practice. Okay. So do you have a job right now? Do you enjoy your job? What responsibilities do you have at work? What is your typical day like at work? This is what you think, the kind of questions that will just flow after each other, and you cannot give a direct response. What job do you think you will be doing in 5 years? What skill and qualifications are required for this job? Okay. Now, another example, can you tell me about your hometown? So it's not a question that you will not know. You know your hometown. How has your hometown changed over the years? Is there any way your hometown could be made better? So even if you have not really lived in your hometown, but you have lived in Lagos, use the idea you have for Lagos to represent your hometown. This is what I mean by accuracy of content. It's not necessary. So you can use maybe what you're seeing in Lagos and say that is what is happening in your hometown. So can you tell me about your hometown? It's a very rowdy place. People should think that a village or whatever, a small town like my hometown should be a place that is quiet. But in the opposite, it's very rowdy. As I talk rowdy, and Lagos I talk about, because that's where I have lived. That's where I know. I don't live in my hometown. So you not describe Lagos, but in their mind, we're talking about your hometown. So use what you can relate with. Use what you can flow with. Use what will help your coherence and fluency, to make you not to pause in between. So these are sample questions, and I'm going to be giving some of these sample questions, and you need to record your response. You need to record your response, okay? So that part 2 is called
Hello, ma.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to cut you. Please, can you throw more light about this aspect of what are they calling the job aspects
What
from
job?
the previous slide? The previous slide,
Yes.
when they have to ask you, do you have a job right now? What do you enjoy about your job? Can you just throw a little light about it?
Okay, like I said before, you can say the truth if you don't have a job. I say currently I don't work, but I am trying to learn some digital marketing skills because I want to become a freelancer. I've been working for the past 5 years. Now I'm talking about the past and the future. For the past 10 years, I have been a banker in the accounting. I've been an accountant in the banking industry. But right now, I think I prefer to be a freelancer because I'm having children now and I have a family. So this thing I just said now, none of them is true about me. I'm not an accountant, I've not been, but I shall answer the question. So you can choose to make something up or you can choose to speak the truth. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So the truth, if you have a job, talk about your job. If you have a job and you don't want to talk about it, you can still do that. Then if you don't have a job and you want to say you have a job, you can do it. If you don't have a job and you want to say you don't have a job, you can still do that. What they are listening to is your fluency and your coherence, not really the content, the truth or the false.
Okay. Because I was thinking that maybe telling them that you don't have a job or anything will like tends to reduce your mark or anything.
It's none of their business if you don't want to work. That does not concern them. You understand? You say, I mean, you can actually make, my point is you can't just say, I don't have a job and stop. You must give reason, you must give details and talk about something. Now, like I said, it's not all the time you give reason, detail. Choose one or two out of reason, details, or present and past. Make the whole conversation interesting. Every time you keep giving reason because I don't have a job because it's boring. So the first question, use reason. The second question, use past and present. The third question, use reason and give details. Just dance around it. So it's actually interesting to say, do you have a job right now? No, I don't have a job. Or let's paraphrase the job. What's another word for job? Somebody help me. We're trying to use synonyms now. What's another word for job? Sorry?
Skill.
Work. Okay. So,
Skill.
work. Skill. Okay, so let's use work. Do you have a job right now? I currently do not work. Outcome point has increased because you didn't use job to reply them. So I currently do not work. I stopped working in the year 2022. I had enough of the civil service sector. I decided to go into freelancing. So currently I do freelance, or I'm still preparing to become an expert in project management, digital marketing skill. I intend to use Fiverr and Upwork to get jobs. I said M, but you don't have to say M because people took me off balance, right? So that is what you can do. You can speak the truth or you can lie about it. The truth is usually easier because you're not making up things. So when you're lying, because when I told them the truth that I didn't have a favorite TV show, I had strong points. Like, I don't watch TV. My TV for the past 3 years in my bedroom has not come on. I don't know what is happening. I don't even know the name of the channels. So I could flow because I was saying the truth. You understand? So, but when you want to lie or when you want to say something that is false, then you have a lot to make up. That's when all those starts coming out. But if it is the truth, you flow easily. So if you don't get work, tell them you don't get work and tell them why you don't get work, because there's a reason. If it is that Nigeria does not offer you a job opportunity, you say it. Like I said, it is not about the content of what you're saying, but about the fluency, the coherence, the lexical resources, the vocabularies you use. That is what they're listening to. So don't be bent on trying to tell them something that is real. The president of Nigeria, you can say something like he used to be, maybe you've forgotten the name of Tinubu, right? You say, yeah, Nigeria's president used to be Buhari, but now we have a new president so you're talking. So whether Tinubu or Buhari, that's not what they want to know. They want to be sure that you're flowing, you're not pausing, using the right vocabularies. That is what is important. So even if it sounds negative, like what you just said now, Chimaroke, like what you just said now, like how they would then look at me that I don't have a job. That is, consign them. It's none of their business. Is that okay? Okay, now let me
Thank you very much.
teach about the part 2. Very important. I'm going to have to open like Microsoft Word to teach that. The part 2 where they give you a paper and a pen and tell you 1 minute to prepare. Okay? You're seeing my Microsoft Word page right now, Nabi? Or are you still seeing the slide? What are you seeing?
We are seeing
We
your
can see
page.
your,
I'm seeing the
we can
page.
see your page. It's empty.
The empty page, beautiful. So they're giving you an empty paper, a plain paper, and they're giving you a pen or a pencil. Then they give you a topic and they say, plan in 1 minute, then speak in 2 minutes. So when you're planning, after you're done planning, you just start speaking. Nobody's asking you a question. You're just talking. You just talk for 2 minutes. If you think 2 minutes is small, record yourself and be talking for 2 minutes. You know it is not small to talk about one topic. So in that 1 minute, what are you doing? In that 1 minute, what are you doing? You are brainstorming. Let me make this bold so you don't strain your eyes. Now, your brainstorming process, what are you writing down on that paper? I'm going to give you 2 strategies. You can choose to use any one. What, why, right? Where, when, how.
What? Why?
Where, when, how. We can add who, but let's just stop in how. Let's not be too.
Where?
What, why, where, and
And
how.
how?
So what do you want to talk about? Can you tell us about your favorite event? Let's say that's a question. Speak about your favorite event for the next 2 minutes. Speak about the good, something about your time in school you will never forget. Question is, what is it you want to talk about? Which event you want to talk about? When you turn 20, when you turn 10, when your father first bought you a bicycle, you have to know the what you want to say. You have to write it down. Now, you have 1 minute. So all this thing I'm saying now is 60 seconds you have to create it. So bullet points is what you be writing. You just write your what, why, where, when, how. Then what? When I turn 10. Why? Because it made me feel special. Where? Bullet points. Now, remember I said because it makes me feel special. You don't have to write that sentence. It's something that when you look, you remember, I felt special or feeling special. You've gotten to where it happened. They took me to Dubai, and for the first time I entered a plane. When? When I turned 10. How? So you give those points so that when you see it, you now know what you want to talk about. Now, when you now go to words, after you've written when I turn 10 or when I turn 40 or when you turn whatever, you're allowed to look at the book, but not so much. Remember, you're looking at it, they are recording your conversation, but it is an audio recording. It is not the guy that is interviewing you that will give you the score. The person that will rate you is not seeing your face. So the person does not know whether you're looking down or you're looking up. It is your voice they are listening to. It's a voice recording, not a video recording. So you can look down at that paper and get the tip when you see the bullet point to know what to say. So when you say under words, you can just write 20th BD. We know it is 20th on that paper. No, they are not marking that paper. That paper is just to put quick bullet points. 20th BD, special, like I felt special, where, Dubai, then when, 2024 or, 2020, whatever, how did you feel on top of the world, So this can be what you have penned down in your paper. Now, 1 minute is over. Start talking. So the very event I will now, of course, I've talked about synonyms. They asked you what's your special event. You can now change event to the occasion I will never forget. Yeah, exactly. An occasion I will never, ever forget in my life was when I turned 20. My 20th birthday, is an experience that I will live to forever remember. I have plans to tell my children about it. As a matter of fact, the video is still with me. I put it together in a safe place so that I can pass it on to my children. It was an amazing experience. Now, all this thing I'm talking is what? Not because what there just says 20th birthday. I'll now say, and the occasion I'll never forget is my 20th birthday. Then I'll move to why. It was a special occasion. I will dwell in the what, then I will go to the why. Why was this special to me? Because that was the first time ever my parents had to take me out of this country to celebrate my birthday. First of all, it was my first experience in an aircraft. It was just an unbelievable experience. Now, my parents took me to Dubai. I've entered where? Then inside the Dubai, it is such a beautiful, somebody should give me vocabulary, such a beautiful, I mean, an edifice now. No, he had amazing edifice. Like I said, no go speak vocabulary when no macho. So you try to use things that will work. So now I've entered where? I'll talk about Dubai, that it was breathtaking. Now, those are things like idioms. That's what I call it. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but use things like it practically took my breath away. I could be in the street and I stand for like 20 seconds just staring. Like the whole experience was unbelievable. They now moved to when, and this happened in the year. So all I look at is 2020. When I've exhausted my talk about Dubai, the next thing I see is 2020. But I'll now say, and this happened in the year 2020. That was when I turned 30, blah, 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 blah. So it's bullet points you're writing. Don't go and start writing a sentence. You understand? 2020 is a year I will forever live to remember. It is in my book or in my diary. And like I said, I'm also keeping that for my children because I would like to replicate the same to them or even better. You understand? So you will work on, you just drop this bullet point, and each of the bullet points should mean something to you. So when you see Dubai, you know what to say. When you see 2020, you know what to say. Now, this story that I talked about is a lie. Nobody carry me go Dubai on my 20th birthday. It's just something I made up here. I didn't even prepare to make this one up. It can be anything, but have a bullet point on how you want it to go. Maybe I probably have used an experience I had when I actually went to Dubai, but it wasn't for my 20th birthday. At the airport, I was blown. I'm like, am I still in the world or I've entered heaven? I had that experience. I had that feeling. For me, going there, it wasn't, no parents carried me anywhere. So you can mix things up and come up with an amazing story. So this is the strategy: what, why, where, when, how. If you have any, you can add who. Okay, so I can end this by saying all this was done by my mom. My mother, she's just the best. She's the best. I love her so much. I look forward to giving her the best of life because she was there for me. I'm definitely going to be there for her. So you could add all that. You're flowing. Like I said, it's better you talk and they stop you than just going, my 20th birthday, it was very special. Oh, I went to Dubai. This happened in 2020. I was on top of the world. Oh my God, I love my mother. You now stop. You now check that it's only 38 seconds you have spoken. You just ran through everything. You have finished talking in 36 seconds. You still have 1 minute and 24 seconds to go. So 20th birthday doesn't mean you should just say it was my 20th birthday. Special does not mean you should just say it is special. You will dance around that 20th birthday, dance around it, dance around it. Then you now go to why is this special? You dance around it, dance around it. You now go to Dubai, you dance around it, dance around it. You understand? Go. If they stopped you when you're talking about when, it's fine. It means you're cutting to your 2 minutes. It is okay if they stop you. So it's better you're stopped than you stop and you're moving at them. Any question? Do we understand this? Did it help? Did this help?
Ma?
Very helpful.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, ma, what if at the long run you do not finish the whole thing and they have already stopped you?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like nobody, like I said, nobody cares about what you're saying. As you're talking, they are listening to vocabulary, they are looking out for vocabulary, they are looking out for your lexical resources, which is vocabulary, they are looking out for your fluency. That's what they want to get. Nobody cares whether how will they know that you did not finish? You know what you wrote on paper. Nobody knows. What does finish mean? There is no end to this story. So that thing you wrote down is just to help you to flow. To help you to flow. Do you understand? So there is no.
Okay, ma. Ma,
Yes.
please. The paper you jotted down, will
Yes.
they take it from you or the paper
No.
remains with you?
Nobody cares whether you leave it there or they take it or you take it. Doesn't mean anything. Even if they look at it,
Okay.
it does not add. It does not add
To the
to
point.
nothing. Sometimes you write in codes now.
Okay.
Writing birthday, I wrote BD. Nobody's looking
Yeah.
at it. Yes, nobody's looking at that.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Okay.
this is another strategy you
Okay.
can use, but somehow it's the same. It's the same because under the concept, it is why. Why did the event happen? It's almost the same thing. Why did you go there? Why did you choose to have your vacation in a particular place? So it's still the same thing somehow. Then how did you go about it? How did you plan it? Planning, why, how, then what exactly did you do? What's the thing? What? Then your feeling at the end. How did you feel? So you can choose to use any of this concept. I prefer the first, but this is also another, the why, how, what, and the feeling, the feedback. So why did you choose to have this event? Then how did you go about it? How did you put it together? Then what exactly was it? But for me, the first concept works better because it's just direct questions and direct answers, and you can dwell on each for a very long time to just put in flesh into what you want to say. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are good. Let me go back to my slide and see if there's something I'm missing out. Okay, don't worry. The examiner will stop you when you reach 2 minutes. The topics are random and cannot be predicted, but they are normally topics that anyone in the world can talk about. So these are examples of the questions. Describe a time when you were really proud of yourself. Talk about a hobby that you enjoy. So what is the hobby? Why do I enjoy it? What, when, where, how? Tell me about a place that you visited. Now, it is one question, one. In this part 2 is one question, not like part 1 that they'll ask you, you talk, you ask you, you talk. This one is what they call it, monologue. Is you that is talking. They'll just ask you, then you talk. So because you see plenty of questions here, doesn't mean they'll ask you more than one, just one. Describe a time when you were really proud of yourself. I've dropped this slide for you guys in the group already, right? You have the slide. So you have this.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, it's in the group. Those that join late, maybe I'll send it to you privately. So in your notes taking, cover all topics in your cue card if you can. Follow the order in which you put your bullet points. You don't want to say, it was about my 20th birthday. Oh my God, I felt so excited. I started talking about I love my mother. You ended the matter. Follow the flow. Follow the order in which your bullet point was listed with the strategy we gave. And use short sentences just to serve as a reminder. You can use signs or whatever. Then have multiple ideas as answer for one question. Add vocabularies that you know and can use well. Okay, so practice 5-10 vocabularies, know them, and make sure you know how to use them. Don't just go and bring vocabulary and throw it at, then show that you have good control and command of English. Put it out to them. Sometimes you want to say something really loud, daring, like, I do not know why he does that. This is so unbelievable. But I've learned how to deal with it. Sincerely, I've learned how to deal with it. I just came out like, I have control of my English. I got up with emotions, but I said, but I've learned how to deal with it. So just do all those paparazzi things. It gives points. Very high one at that. Okay. So another example is describe an advertisement that persuaded you to buy a product. So you should say, what was the advert that you saw? You just write the advert, any advert you have seen online, maybe Shakti and sent caregivers advert. You said that you just saw people wearing orange scrubs. It was so in your face, colors everywhere. You wanted to know what it was. They now say, was it on the TV you saw it? Was it on the radio? Was it on the billboard? So the what, why, where, when, all those apply. What was good about the advert? Just have a breakdown of what you want to say before you start talking. Have a preparation. Have a step-by-step preparation before you go. Okay? So these are more examples. You all have this. Now, this resource, I got it from this website. So you can copy this link and they have a 7 days free trial. So if you're going to put in your card details, make sure you get back after 7 days to unsubscribe. No, they will charge you. Okay, so try it for 7 days. It's amazing. It's just very great to get practical. But I'm going to drop a lot of resources for you guys on the group. A lot. You don't even need to go to any website. I'm going to drop a lot of resources for you guys in the group, like past 10 years resources. I'll drop it for you. Now, the part 3 is discussion on general abstract question. You don't have preparation time for part 3. In part 3 is where you really need to use that delay strategies. You say, well, I've never thought of that, but let me see. Can you rephrase that question? It's not like you use all this at once. Example, well, I've never thought about that. Then another time I can say, let me see. Can you rephrase that question so I can get a clearer understanding? I want to be sure what you're saying. So you can use all these delay tactics or strategies to buy time. Okay. It does not necessarily connect to part 2, but most of the times it's connected to part 2. Okay. You can't give short answers. We've talked about this. Give details, give examples. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this class. Any question at this point? Any question?
None from me.
None for you. So did we get value from today's class? Did we learn something new? When you write those your when, why, where, we know what a noun is. A noun is a name of a person, animal, place, or thing. Okay, so in that your what, when, where, blah, blah, blah. Most of the things you're writing down are basically nouns. A place, a thing, an event, they are nouns. When you're now building up, you now start adding adjectives. Adjectives is what does what? It qualifies, right? It qualifies the noun. So you can now write put your adjectives to the noun. So instead of now saying the party, you can now say it was an unbelievable party. The dress I got was so beautiful. It was a beautiful dress. So you now add adjectives to the bullet points you have given. So it's noun, adjective strategies. Always spice it up with an adjective. Okay. Question. We learned. Yes, please.
My question is, you said the speaking part is in three. The speaking is in 3 parts. Do we know when this part is commencing, or it happens all at once that we can't even know when it's part 1, part 2, part 3? Are we told that okay, we're going to the next part 2, we're going to the next part 3, or it just happens all at once?
It will just flow. Everything, all this thing we've been talking in the past almost 2 hours happens in 14 minutes, 11 to 14 minutes. So after the introduction, they ask you to sit down, they say they're recording, then I say, the first thing is to ask a question. So what we're doing now is for you to know what is happening. It's just like the example of Okay, it wasn't in this class I said that, but I said it in you guys, principal, I said it in your care class. It's like the example of the plane. When I had phobia for flying, whenever I'm aware that tomorrow I'm traveling, problem, I will start shaking. I can't even sleep. I had intense phobia for flying. So I went on YouTube years ago, over 15 years ago, and I had to Google, how do I, overcome the fear of flying? And I saw a short course on YouTube that taught me how to overcome the fear of flying. And what did it use to teach me? It made me to understand what happens in an aircraft when it's taking off. So once the flight takes off, the first thing is the tires go in. So you're going to hear a sound. If you don't know that it is tire that is going in, that sound can scare you. Then once it goes in, the aircraft shakes. So being aware of what happens. So next time if I enter plane, once we take up a here, I say, Nataya, they go, nothing they happen. Nataya, they enter. Now I'm aware of what is happening. So fear disappeared. So once it now goes in, bad, plane shake, I say the tire don't enter. You understand? Then when you get to that at 6,000 feet altitude, then you now wobble a bit. I didn't know what was happening. So before, when I get to that altitude and it wobbles, I'll hold my chair like, hey, we don't they go. But now I know what is happening. So it killed fear. So you and I know it's a serious matter. The fear just disappeared because I was not aware. So what we are doing here is telling you what will happen. So when they now ask, they give you paper, you tell them, we know what is about to happen. We know. So the fear will die because you know. Imagine if you didn't have this clue, you enter IELTS class. You don't even know what is expected of you. But now you know that once you sit down, they ask you a question about you or your.
I know.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yes, I know.
I know.
Yes, I got it, man.
You got it, man.
I know what we want to ask you.
So this
I know your question,
fear,
right? Go ahead. Give it to me.
know your
Let me
first
give it back to
question
you.
is about me. So once it's done with that, they will not bring that paper. You know we've entered part 2. You know, when they collect the paper from you, you know we're entering part 3. Like I said, everything happens in 11 to 14 minutes. So they will not necessarily tell you we're down in part 1. They don't even know that you know what is part 1, but that is the structure. For those that have taken IELTS, was that not what happened? Did they tell you this is part 1,
Yeah.
part 3, part 4? No, it just flows. It just flows. Are we there? Let me stop recording before this video came to 2 hours. Any other question? See me that said speaking is the easiest. We will not spend too much time. Now this one way